Hello, welcome to day one of our free 30 days full stack series. So today we will start with how the web works, and also we'll talk about JavaScript roadmap for beginners. Yes, this today might look like more of theory, but don't bother. We are going to be writing a lot of code. Remember, we'll be building real applications. But before we build web application, we need to understand what web applications, how they work, and how the web works. So that is why today's class will be more of the first part will be more of theory so that we can understand what we are building. Okay, so part one, we are going to have three parts. Okay, the first part to talk about how the web works, the second part to talk about JavaScript roadmap, and the third part to talk about setting up your JavaScript and writing your first code. So the third part is going to be more of practical. Now, how does the web work? That is what we are taking a look at. So what is the web? The World Wide Web is a system that allows computers around the world to share information using the internet. So your computer, your phone, they are all connected to the World Wide Web whenever you are connected to the internet. So when they are connected to the internet, they are sharing data. Okay, right now you're watching this video because the YouTube server is somewhere and your phone is connected to the internet and you have gone to the YouTube website to watch this video. That is why you could share your phone and YouTube and the computer that is hosting YouTube are actually sharing data now because both of you are connected to the internet. So the internet is the global network of computers. Okay, the internet is the global network of computer, a network of computers, network. You understand? Network of computers. So once you're connected to the internet, your computer, your phone, your laptop is now part of the network of computers. So the web is what runs on top of the internet. So the web cannot run without the internet. That is why if you're not connected to the internet, you cannot have access to the web. Okay. So now example is the internet is like roads, okay? And then we without if you your the internet is the road, while our phone, our laptop, our computers are the cars that are driving that road. So the internet connects every other computer, okay, together. So what happens when you type a website URL? When you type www.youtube.com, what happens? Okay. Once you do that, okay, when you type www.google.com, all right, the browser, a lot happens in less than 1 second. In less than 1 second, a lot happens. First of all, let's break it down step by step. Okay. When you enter a URL is called a uniform resource locator. Okay, uniform resource locator is like a unique address for anything on you want to access on the web, images, HTML files, whatever it is. Okay, they are called resources. Okay, all those things that you are accessing from the internet, they are called resources, and they have unique addresses. So the URL is the address of a website. So every website has an address, a unique address. Okay. Every website has a unique address. Google.com is a unique address. All right. You can never see any other thing like www.google.com. You can never see anything like that. So the URL is broken down. Okay, the URL is broken down. The HTTPS is what we call it is the secure communication. The HTTPS um, ensures that hackers will not hack whatever information that we are passing through. Okay, www is the subdomain. Okay, so and google.com is the domain name. So the URL is broken down into three parts: the HTTPS, the www, which is the subdomain, and the google.com, which is the domain name. A domain name is a unique name for every website. A domain name is a unique name for every website. So as you're going to be creating websites, you're going to have a unique name, which is going to be the domain name. So your browser now needs to find where this website lives. Okay. So once you have typed this www.google.com, all right, you hit enter. All right. The browser will take will take that URL and go and find where that website lives. So when you type www.google.com, it's your browser's job to go and look for the website, get the address, the unique address, and find where the website lives. So this step two, no, after you have typed in the URL, the browser's job is to go and look for the website that has that unique address. So it will go and talk to the domain name system. Okay, the domain name system is where all the addresses of every website in this world lives. So the browser will go and consult the domain name system, asking them, oh, google.com, please, what is the unique address of google.com? Do you understand? So computers do not understand names like google.com. All right. It is human beings that understand names like google.com. Computers don't understand names like google.com. So when you type google.com, computers don't understand it. So they only understand IP addresses like something like this. Okay. So your google.com is living in a computer that has this address. Okay. Now, the browser would ask the DNS, oh, I have google.com. Please help me get the IP address because the IP address is the real unique address. So browser will take the google.com to DNS. DNS will now look for the IP address of google.com. If you give it youtube.com, it will go and look for youtube.com, the IP address. So your browser asks a system called DNS, which is the domain name system, for what is the IP address of google.com? Okay, somebody wants to reach out to google.com. I have the domain name, but I don't have the IP address. The domain name system, please, what is the IP address of google.com? So DNS is like a phone contact list. DNS, like I said, is where all the all the URLs, the unique addresses live. Okay, so every domain name has an IP address. Okay, name, phone number, just like in our phone, we have name and we have phone number. Do you understand? So the DNS has domain name and IP address. Okay, so google.com has IP address. Google.com is the domain name, IP address is the IP address. So once the browser, the DNS finds google.com IP address, it will now give it to the browser. The browser will now go and talk to the server. So the browser will talk to the server. A server is a computer that is hosting the google.com. A server is a computer that hosts websites. Do you understand? Okay. So once the browser has gotten the IP address from the DNS, it will now go and talk to the server directly. So once it has found it, it will go and talk to the server directly. Your browser will now send an HTTP request to the server. So let me be more practical here. Let me show you something. So I'm going to type in google.com. I hit enter. Okay, I have gotten, this is the website of google.com. So you see, in less than a second, the browser has taken this google.com to the DNS, looked for the IP address of google.com, and gotten the IP address, talked to the server, and then gave us a response. So let me show you something. If I right click and go to inspect on the browser, if I go to the network tab, all right, let me refresh this again. If you can see down here, you can see down here, if you can see down here, okay, let me even make this thing put it by the side. Okay, so if you can see, this is google.com. This is what we call a request. Okay, so oh, sorry. This is what we call a request. Okay, look at it. This is the request. This is the request. This is the response. So the browser will make a request to the server. Okay, and then the server will return what we call response. Okay, so this is the response. The response is what we now get here. All right. So now, as fast as possible, we get this result. All right. As fast as possible, get this result. So the browser will send an HTTP request to the server. All right. It will tell the server, please send me the Google homepage. That's a request. Send me the Google. I have gotten your address. Somebody wants your homepage because if you look at what I did here, all right, I'm searching for, sorry, what I was searching for here is the homepage. All right. So make a request to the home page. All right. I'm making a request to the home page. So the browser will send the request to the server. The server will now give us the home page. So this request includes what page you want, browser type, and then the device info. Okay. So if I go now to inspect the request, all right. If I go now to this is the request. Okay. So if I go and make the request, it's telling us this is if I go to general, this is the request URL. Okay, so this is the URL. This is the method we use to make the request. This is the status code. This is the remote address. Okay, and then it includes all of this. Okay, it includes all of this. So what is the scheme? All right, we are using HTTPS to get it. What is the URL path? We are using this is the home page that we are asking for. Okay, the method we are using is get. Okay, don't bother. As we go on, you're going to understand more of this. We are going to teach you more of this. But the reason why I'm bringing this into your notes is so you understand how the web works. Because you'll be building websites, you need to understand how it works, how to make requests and how to get responses. Okay, the request will include the web page you want, the browser type, the device info that you're using, the cookies. You will understand all these things as we go on. Okay, in these 30 days, you're going to understand all these things. So now, once the browser makes a request, the server will go and look for the request. Oh, I'm looking for the homepage of google.com. Do I have it? If the server has it, the server will now respond. The server is a powerful computer that stores the website. Google.com is the website. The website that you'll be building, it will be stored on a server. Okay, so it's a powerful computer that stores websites like google.com or the website that you're going to be building. It also runs backend code. All right. So now it talks to the database. These are the things the server does. It stores websites, it runs backend code. It also talks to database to fetch data. Now, the server may run backend logic using Node.js, Python, or PHP, but in this class, in this series, we'll be using Node.js. Okay, it can fetch data from the database. It can generate HTML dynamically. So let me give you an analogy of this. All right. The browser, when you go to the restaurant to eat, okay, you walk into the restaurant, okay, that is, you walk into the restaurant, the dining area is where your people eat, okay, that is the front end, all right? So it's from the front end that you make this request. So when you're in the dining room, you would at the dining area, you actually make order, oh, I want to eat fried rice. So they will take the browser, in this case now, the waiter, which the waiter is the browser. The waiter will take your order to the kitchen. So the browser will take your order to the kitchen, all right? Then the server, which is the kitchen, will now process the backend logic, fetch data from the database, prepare your food, and then give it to you, and then return your order. So that is how it works. So the server does all these things, prepares the response, and give us the response. Now, let me show you what response we got here. So this is the request. This is the response. So this is what we got as the response. You might not understand all this thing, but this is what the server gave us, and that is what the browser is displaying here. So if I go back, this is the response details. This is the response details. All right. There's a lot of things that you might not understand here, but the content type. It returned HTML. Don't worry, you'll get to understand all these things. It returned HTML, and this is the date that it returned this response. Okay. This is the server cookies and just there's a whole lot. So the server will return a response to us. All right, it will return a response to us. So the server will send back a response. You made a request using the browser made a request to the server. The server will process the request. If the request is whatever you're asking the browser, the server, if it's available, it will return it to you. So the server sends back HTML page. That is why you're seeing the server will return this HTML page. That is what you're seeing here. The browser will now display it. CSS page design, JavaScript for interactivity, and this response travels back to your browser through the internet. And all these things happen in less than a second. They happen in milliseconds, very fast. Okay, so once the browser has received the response, remember the browser is like the waiter in the restaurant. okay, the waiter, which is the browser, will now serve you your food. So once the browser gets the response, it will read the HTML that was returned from the server, build the page structure, all right, and then apply CSS design if there's any, and then run the JavaScript. Okay, this is what the browser does. It will read the HTML, it will apply CSS, and it will run JavaScript. This process is called rendering. So once the browser has made the request, the server responds with the response, the browser will now render the response so that you, the user, will see it. Say that means that is where you can now see the website. Google.com, you will now see the google.com website or the youtube.com website. Okay, so client versus server, you need to understand this thing. The browser is the client, the server, the browser is the client, okay, while the server is the server. So a client is the browser, your phone, your laptop. This is the client, all right? This client, they run HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all right? The client side is the front end, what the users are seeing, what the users are using to interact with the server. So it runs, the browser is the main client agent. It runs HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it is the browser, the client that will make a request to the server. All right. So the server is a remote computer that processes the request of a client. It runs backend code. All right. It handles database and authentication and simple rule. The client asks something from the server will respond. All right. You went to the restaurant to eat. All right. The waiter is your client. All right. The waiter is the client. Okay. You the client. Okay. You are the client. Okay. So you ask for fried rice. You give it to the waiter. The waiter is the HTTP. All right. The HTTP will take that. The client and the server, they communicate through HTTP. HTTP is the standard messenger. Okay, so the waiter is the HTTP. You are the client that wants to eat. You want to eat fried rice. You give it to the waiter. The waiter will now communicate between you and the kitchen. All right. Now the waiter will take your order to the kitchen. They will process your order. The kitchen is the server. That's the back end. They will process your order, and then and the waiter will still take it back to you. Do you understand? Okay. So front end versus back end. Front end is basically what users see. All right. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That is what we use to build front end. We also have React and Next.js. These are libraries of JavaScript. Don't worry, as we go on, you're going to understand more of this. Okay. So these are the technologies that we use to build front end. All right. So if you understand these technologies, you're a front-end developer and you can be paid heavily as a front-end developer if you're very good. Okay. Back end is behind the scenes. Okay. We'll be doing more of back end in this 30-day series. We'll be using Node.js. You can use Node.js, you can use Python, okay, but we'll be using Node.js here. The database, APIs. Basically, in this series, we'll be building APIs using Node.js, okay? Both work together to build web applications. Front end and back end, they work together to build web applications. You can, there must be a front end, there must be a client, there must be a server. If not, the web application will not be complete, okay? So, HTTP, like I said, is the messenger. It is the proper way, the standard way between the client and the server, the way they communicate. So the waiter is the one that will take your order and take it to the kitchen. So the HTTP is what takes our request to the server. Okay, it's the standard rules for communication between the server and the client. It is not HTTP is not secured, but HTTPS is secured. So wherever you see HTTPS, all right, as in front of any URL, know that that communication is protected. Hackers cannot hack it. So HTTPS is secure. It protects password and payment. So whenever you go to any website and you don't see HTTPS, you only see HTTP. Don't continue with that website. It is not protected. So modern website must use HTTPS. Must use HTTPS. Okay. So let's talk about static versus dynamic websites. Static websites, the same content for everyone. It is static. It is static. Every time you come to that website, it is the same content. Every user of that website are seeing the same thing. It's the same content. Okay. It is only built with HTML and CSS only. It is only built with HTML and CSS, but that's not what we'll be building. We'll be building dynamic websites that changes per user. Every user will have a different content. All right. So it uses backend and it uses database. This is what we'll be building. All right. Let me guarantee you, if you follow this series, subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on notification. If you follow me in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, you become a full stack web developer, build applications, build websites. Okay. So example of dynamic website, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp web, and the website that we'll be building in this 30 days free series. Okay. So what is the role of JavaScript? Because we'll be doing a lot with JavaScript. What is the role? JavaScript runs in the browser. JavaScript handles clicks, forms, animations. When you click a button, it is JavaScript that handles it. When you fill a form or you sign up, you sign in, when you fill a form, it is JavaScript. Animations, JavaScript. So JavaScript communicates with servers via APIs. You'll be learning all these things. So JavaScript is very, very important. Don't be scared. JavaScript is not hard to understand. I'm going to break it down for you. Don't ever be scared. No, no, no. I got you. All right. Don't be scared. JavaScript is not hard. Just follow me. All right. Follow me step by step. I will teach you JavaScript in this 30-day series. So without JavaScript, websites would be very boring and static. So it's JavaScript that makes websites to be interactive. All right. It is website that makes website. It is JavaScript that make website to be dynamic. If not, every website will be static using HTML and CSS. So how does APIs fit in? APIs, we call them application programming interface. Okay, APIs is a way of communicating between client and servers. Okay, so an API is a messenger. It's a messenger between front end and back end. The front end, but the back end would have some services, and the front end will consume those services using APIs. So the back end will provide what we call APIs, then the front end will consume those APIs. We are going to do a lot of that in this 30-day series. Just relax. I'll take you one step by step. All right. There's no pressure. There's no rush. All you need is consistency. So backend and backend can also communicate via API. Okay, you can build a backend service. Another person can also build a backend service, and they can communicate. So example is frontend will ask for user data. All right, using API. Backend can also send JSON response back to the front end. So, but don't worry, you might not understand what I'm just explaining here. As we go on, you get to understand better. So let's take a look at the full web request flow. The user, you will use the browser. You will type in the URL in the browser. You hit enter. The browser will take that URL, go to the domain name system to find out, oh, the domain name system, I have a domain name, but I don't know the IP address. Can you help me find the IP address? The domain name will find the IP address. The browser will now take that IP address, send request to the server that has that IP address that is hosting the website that you're looking for. The server will now also talk to the database, fetch data from the database, now send response to the browser. It could be HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or JSON. Then the browser will now render this response. The browser renders the page. Okay, so this is the web flow, the request flow. All right. So life analogy, you are the user. You walk into a restaurant, you see their menu. Okay, their menu is like the website UI, the website user interface. You can see where to click button, navigate, you can see where you do so many things. That's the menu. Okay, the waiter is the browser. Okay, you tell the waiter what you want to eat. The waiter will take your request to the kitchen. The kitchen is the server. Okay, then the kitchen will prepare your food, which is the data. So the server will fetch the data from the database and then serve it to you. Your order. You order, the kitchen prepares, you receive. So you make an order. The browser, the waiter will take it to the kitchen, the server. The server will fetch data from the database, prepares the data for you, and then send it to you. You will now receive it. So this is how websites work. Okay? Why this knowledge matters? It's matter because it gives you a very good understanding of how the web works. How can you build websites when you don't understand how websites work? How can you build something that you don't understand how they works? Okay, it will help you to learn JavaScript faster. Okay, it will help you to understand React and APIs. It will help you to debug errors easily. See, as a developer, you will be building applications that will have a lot of errors. So, but if you don't understand how these things work, you will not know where the problem is coming from. So don't take this class for granted. Okay, it will help you to become a full stack developer. This knowledge you have gotten in this part one of this of day one. Okay, so beginner summary: connects the computer. Internet connects computers because internet is the network of computers. DNS, domain name system, finds servers. Domain name system have the IP addresses of servers, and the browser will send requests to the server. Server sends response back, request response. HTML builds structure. HTML is used to build the structure of the website. CSS is used to style the website. JavaScript makes the website very, very interactive and dynamic. Okay, so call to action: subscribe to this channel. You have a lot to learn. I'm going to help you a lot. All right, this free 30-day series is going to help you become a full stack developer. All right, and there is more to learn in 3 to 6 months. Follow this channel, subscribe, turn on notification, share with your friends. Anybody that is interested in learning going into tech, learning web development, this is free of charge. 3 to 6 months, you become a full stack developer and you can get a job. Okay, comment ready. Join the WhatsApp class. The link to the WhatsApp class will be in the description and also in the pinned comment. Comment ready. All right, if you're ready to take this class seriously, and then this ends our part one of day one. Okay, so in the next class, all right, the part two, just check for it in the playlist. Check for part day one, part two in the playlist. We'll be talking about JavaScript roadmap for beginners. So with this, if you take this part two, it will help you to understand JavaScript and it will make your life easier as a developer. Don't miss out. Check it in the playlist. Part two is in the playlist.